I remember getting really, really terrified by the second Ring movie. I think it came out when I was like 7 or 8, I'm not sure. But I saw it in theaters with that same friend from the Blast Off story. Have I told this story? I think I've told this story before. But me and that friend from the Blast Off story went to see The Ring 2 in theaters when I was in like 1st or 2nd grade, I don't remember. And we got really, really spooked by it. I probably wouldn't be as spooked by it now, because when you're a kid, things just seem way more spooky than they actually are. But I remember her dad picked us up in his van, and he was going to drive us home and drop me off at my parents' house after we were done watching the movie. And her dad was such a fucking troll. He drove us through a cemetery at night and then rolled down the windows, and we were like screaming. Like, I got so terrified. Like, with that combined with watching the movie in the theater, it was just it was a bad time. And he kept spooking us and being like, what was that over there? And like making noises. And I was really, 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 really freaked out and tense. When I got home, I just like got out of the car, and I was really scared because it was nighttime and a lot of the like outside lights were off. So I just made a fucking like run for the door. I bolted for it, threw it open, and then I saw my mom sitting in the living room, and I was just like so terrified and just wanted to hug my mom. So I just ran straight for her. I made a fucking beeline for my mom, and she's just like, oh, what's wrong, honey? And before she could even like finish her sentence, I dove into her to hug her. But in doing so, my head collided with her nose, and her nose erupted with blood all over the living room floor. And I had never heard my mom yell in pain to that extent before, and I was horrified. I felt so guilty and so scared, like, oh my god, I have injured my mom. I'm going to be kicked out of the house into the cold, dark night. I'm going to be exiled from my family. And I felt so horrible because, like, she had to use several towels to soak up the blood from her nose. It was like really, really bleeding, like really bad. I must have collided with her at like 100 miles per hour with my hard, like rock hard child head directly into her face. And I felt terrible. And she was like crying because it must have hurt really bad. I had never heard my mom cry that much before. And I just like went into the kitchen because I figured like my mom didn't want me around because I had I had caused her to have a bloody nose. And my dad and my brother were like staring at me and like shaking their heads, and I was just like, after watching that movie and getting all scared in the car with my friend, my mind was in like so many places, so many scary places. I was like, oh my god, my family is going to hate me now. I'm going to be exiled. They're going to put me up for adoption or like kill me or something. And I was like, oh my god, did I accidentally kill my mom by headbutting her in the nose? So I was just like sitting on the floor in the kitchen freaking out about this as like a 7 or 8 year old kid. And then in a few minutes it was fine. I still felt really, really bad though, and she had to go to the doctor to get it checked out. And she had like a small fracture in her nose, and I felt especially bad because this was right before we were going to go on a family trip to somewhere for winter vacation. So she had to be on vacation with a fractured nose, and I felt so horrible. That was probably one of the things in my life that I feel the most horrible about. I know it was like entirely an accident. Like I couldn't have known. I was just like running towards her to hug her. But I didn't know that my head would collide with her face in that way. I think she wasn't expecting me to just like leap for her. So, cause she was like sitting there like holding a drink on the couch and didn't really have time to react. But I was just like in fight or flight mode from the scary movie and everything, and I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, Mom. She forgives me. It's okay. Now it's just a funny story. That time I headbutted my mom, and I gave her a bloody nose. I still feel so bad. Oh my god. That was like a million years ago and I still feel so bad. Ah, thank you, Rolita. There's only one thing left to do now. You must take over. You are the mommy now.